Hello and welcome to the Rate Stuff Extra. I'm your host, Jack Izzard, and this is the bonus show that we record in between the main show, where we look at one topic that's too big, too interesting, too monumental to cover in the main show. And we've got a cracker for you today, and to help me with this, I've got two experts. Peter Stimson.
Hello.
Familiar face to viewers, and Matthew Cumber.
Hi, Jack.
Managing Director of Countrywide Surveying Services. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we've got the Brains Trust in today to talk about the numbers of new homes that are being built, or rather not being built. Matthew, some worrying figures on the consent side.
Yes. So if you look at, obviously, the start of the process, you've got to get consent to build. So up until March 2025, there's 220,000 applications been approved. The target needs to be 330,000, because if we want to hit the 1.5 million new homes construction in this Parliament, we've got an awful long way to go. So if you haven't got the planning consents coming through, you're never going to build the actual properties in the first place.
Yeah, and I think there's another worrying thing, as well as obviously getting the planning permission. There's also the number of housing starts, and it's particularly worrying in London. Last 12 months in London, you're down to around 12,000 actual starts. That number, if you look back previous years, sort of varies between sort of around 45,000 and 55,000.
We're at 12.
We're about 12. It's largely due to the Building Safety Act coming in, which is sort of following Grenfell and obviously the requirements around, increased safety requirements. Majority of the stuff is obviously flats because obviously the constrained sort of supply of land in London. I think it's something like 75% of the new sort of planning applications are getting sent back, because obviously the sort of new requirements around legislation. So the stuff's either not getting built because, it's getting sent back, or, there's just not even starting the things now because of the increased costs around it. So there's seriously some stuff going wrong at the moment.
Yes, so let's just recap here. So the government's target was to build 1.5 million new homes in England and Wales during this Parliament. From what you're saying, it sounds like they are going to miss that by a mile. So right at the start of the process, we're not seeing developers apply with planning permission, and then further down the track, they're not even starting the building. So what's wrong? Is it too much red tape in the planning process, do you think, Matthew?
I think there's a number of factors. I think there's regulatory, there's economic, and there's market conditions. Regulatory, yes, I think every commentator that you talk to will say that there's too much red tape around building control and building process applications. Peter talked about one, which are all for the right reasons. The Building Safety Act 2022 post-bill, all for the right reasons. But however, it's almost got to a stage now where that is stopping clearly to improve process coming in, and we need that. And then I think you've got massive economic cost problems, and you've seen the cost of build materials to actually build the property go up. I think, Peter, you got some stats on that.
Yeah, I think since in the sort of 2 years to 2023, cost of construction went up by something like 43%. Now that's not being reflected in, a corresponding increase in new builds. I think you guys know that.
So there's the contrary, actually. So you're actually, so that is munching into developers' margin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We saw a huge spike in the price of things like steel, concrete, the raw materials we use for building. Also labour costs, post-COVID, post-Brexit, those have gone up. These are all the input costs that come off the developer's bottom line. And you mentioned there the prices that they're achieving for their finished properties.
Yeah.
I've got some numbers here from Property Mark. They showed that in July, the average list price for a new build house was £19,000 less than it was in July last year.
Yeah.
So no wonder developers don't want to build.
You've lost Help to Buy. I mean, Help to Buy was a massive support, particularly for developers, for first-time buyers. There's no Help to Buy for that sort of helping them get rid of the sort of the first-time buyer market, the flats. That sort of market has kind of disappeared for the developers. So, there was a kind of a build to order kind of going on at the end of the market, and that's disappeared now.
I mean, the mortgage market, I think, can hold its head up high here. You are willing to lend. The issue is just the supply of new homes. They're not getting built. I can't believe that's down to lack of demand, Dave.
I think the demand is still there. The demand for property is still there. If you haven't got those new build homes being built, people clearly aren't going to buy them. And there's not enough being built in every sector. So there's not enough being built for people that want to rent. The build to rent numbers are down. The actual properties that are people want to buy for home ownership is down. So across the entire sector of new build starts, the whole market is down, and that can't be allowed to continue.
So looking ahead, this could end up being a bit of a millstone around the government's neck, because you remember during the election campaign, they made great play about being the builders, not the blockers. These exciting new planning and infrastructure bills would come in and make it a breeze to get things built.
Not seen it yet.
Yep. A lot of work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, things are not changing, not improving there. That's it for the Rate Stuff Extra. Do join us for the main episode where we look at the big topics moving the market for both property and mortgages. I'm Jack Izzard.
I'm Peter Stimson.
And I'm Matthew Cumber.
Join us next time for the Rate Stuff.